Hello and welcome to Frog Special new episode. So the Frog Special series was built to, show how I built some guns for myself from scratch with lots of conversion parts and so on. But today's Frog Special will be tiny bit different. Today I will be building this VFC Cybergun Mark 17 SCAR heavy GBB. So what will be different in today's video, because the gun is a gun, yeah, it's working, it's ready, yeah. So what I will be doing, I will show you two things. First of all, this is the short CQC version, and I want to have a 16-inch version that will be quite custom, so I will show you how I modify it. But what is probably more interesting for everybody, I will be also doing some modifications to it, because the SCAR can be a great gun, but in stock I believe it's quite shit, so we need to do many fixes, okay? And I'll be doing fix by fix. I've thought about splitting this into separate videos and releasing them as, for example, how to make a hop-up for the SCAR, how to make whatever for the SCAR, but I figured out I'll do exactly like all the trendy YouTubers do. I will record one video and divide it into sections so that you can navigate easier through the interesting parts. So on the bottom you can already see the sections and basically watch the part that you are interested in. So what we will be doing, first of all, of course, as the Frog Engineering always does, I will convert it to HPA, because I believe that the SCAR could be a good gun, but on green gas all the GBBRs, they are shit, yeah. So this is my opinion, and I'm gonna stick with it. Additionally, I want to make it 1.9 joules, and I want to have full auto in it, yeah. So this gun is supposed to shoot very, very far. This will be another new thing in the Frog Special, that I will not just build it, but I will show you later the real performance of the gun. The target is to use 0.4 gram BBs, 1.9 joules, full auto, and obviously 100 meters range. Let's see if I can do it. So of course I will be doing the HPA too. Other than this, I will change the hop-up. You will see some tricks I do in order to improve it. I'll change the external parts. I'll make a longer barrel, the outer barrel, and I'll fix some issues that I don't like, especially this one, which is the fire selector. Yeah, it is very nice and tactile, but you can switch it to far. Additionally, I will show you how to modify it so that you have only the semi, because that's exactly what I did in my Mark 20, and you see I cannot switch to full auto, because the story is, I built this gun, it was supposed to have 1.9 joules and full auto and everything, but it's a DMR, so it's kind of wasting its potential. In the fields I play, a DMR can have 2.6 joules, but semi only, so I decided to change it to a DMR. And you see that I blocked the full auto permanently. I'm not able to switch it, so for all the games I'm okay, because again, where I play it's required so that you block it, yeah. And it looks nicely, there is nothing on the outside, it's purely internal solution. I will also do some other smaller modifications. I will deal with the buffer, which makes a lot of issues. Basically, you will see everything is separated into sections in the description, as I said. So now let's get on with it. And first we will take off the lower receiver and do the lower receiver stuff. So the upper is not necessary anymore. Here there will come the Frog Engineering conversion, as I said already. The stuff. HPA, working bolt catch, constant performance, new extended 80 rounds mags, all the good stuff. Okay, I won't show how to mount the conversion because there is a dedicated Frog manual video about it. I'll do it, let's say, off screen, but what I will show, because anyway I need to take the gun apart, the lower receiver assembly, I need to take out the fire selector, and using this opportunity I'll show you how to modify it to avoid the thing I was showing in a moment ago. So to take it off, you need to remove a screw that is hidden in here, and then you can pull off the lever. And the second thing you need to remove is this screw here. Bam. And now you will be able to pull back this plate, which is here. It has this tab, I hope you can see it nicely, yeah? So now I can pull it up and take it out. And this part was blocking the fire selector, yeah? So now if I just press on that side and rotate it, it will jump out. And here in the window there will be left the spring and the pin. It's not really a pin, it's more like a weird shape. So let's look closer on it, yeah? So how it works is that these teeth here, they interact with that part. So when the fire selector rotates, it basically jumps, yeah? And here, like, it's chamfered, yeah? It's chamfered, and the chamfers are all around on the fire selector. So basically, if you reach the final position, it's chamfered, as I say, and it can go, you know, on, yeah? So we will do the following. First, I need a square file. I'm gonna change this shape from being two sides chamfer to be one side chamfer and one side like straight down and to the side. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. So if you look on the fire selector in this orientation, you see that you have these indentations. Like, you can look here on the hole for the selector on the right side of the gun, yeah? So this is safe, this is semi, this is full auto. So this wall that is here, and it's chamfered too, I will need to file also. So the idea is that basically, you know, when I rotate it, it will catch one part on the other and it will not rotate anymore, yeah? And if you want to just remove the full auto, you can do it not in this position, but one position back here on this, let's say, elevated tooth. Because if you remove the chamfer from here, make it like straight, sharp wall down, then the wall on that, let's call it a pin, will catch here and will not allow you to rotate the fire selector to the next position where the full auto would be. So basically it's the same kind of modification, it just depends where you do it. Here, the last tooth, let's call it, if you file this side, then you can remove full auto. There will not be a position of the fire selector for full auto. If you file out this one, then you will have full auto and the selector will not move on in this stupid manner it does right now. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'll do it off screen and show you the result. So this is how it looks like. You see here the chamfer is gone and this new edge, let's say, is kind of sharp after filing. So make sure that, you know, at the very top you smoothen it out just a bit, because it will scratch on the fire selector and, you know, you can have some wear. And here, straight wall, yeah? So now let's pretend this is in the gun. So when I will be rotating it, now it will catch and not rotate anymore. Okay, I'll put it back in the gun to show you proper orientation and everything, but before that I'm going back to the lower receiver to convert it, and I will be changing the pistol grip to this one. The Magpul K2, I kind of like it. This gun will be with shorter eye relief scope. The stock would be set shorter, and for this I prefer the more vertical grip. If the stock would be extended to the maximum due to the eye relief on the gun, then I would use the traditional MOE angle, let's say, yeah? So this will go in. Okay, conversion was shown in the manual, I'm not repeating it here. I'll be back with a converted lower. Here you see my converted set already. The hose will come. I will tape it nicely in a moment, but first the fire selector. So as I said, I'll show how to put it in. It's good to lube it well. So the cutout must be facing the rear, because we want to catch the fire selector rotating like that. So we need to put both parts in. This might be just a bit tricky. Okay, it's in. And now from the other side, And here be careful, because if this plate moves, this one, because if this plate moves, you probably will not be able to put in the fire selector. Okay, and now just put it in. Okay, and somehow you are able to squeeze it in. So now, before we finish the reassembly, let's see how it works, right? So we can go to auto, and it doesn't go anymore. And also to save. To auto and to save. Now we can put back the plate. Okay. Squeeze it in. Okay, position it correctly here. And reattach this one screw. And now for the other side, this is the next part I'm replacing, because this is too short for me. So if I'm shooting the left hand, let's put it on maybe, I have trouble to reach it, yeah? So if I'm here, it's very uncomfortable for me to, you know, try to push it back, yeah? So I bought this part straight from VFC, which is the right side selector, a bit longer, and I'm basically gonna use this one. No philosophy here, you just put it in, yeah, then take the screw and attach it the regular way. Alright, the part number for it will be in the description, yeah. So you see now I'm able to reach here, and it's much easier for me to change the position, yeah. Now it works well, and obviously on both sides, and this is the maximum for full auto. Okay, so with the ready lower, we move on to the upper. And with the upper we will do fix for the hop-up, we will do fix for the buffer, and in general change the rails and some stuff. As I already said, I want to have a 16-inch gun, right? So first thing that goes out is the muzzle device with the barrel extension. Actually, it's nice, they went out pretty smoothly together. And here I'll be using this extension. This is 7-inch extension from Artesian, okay? And I already tested it, it fits nicely with the length, but there is one thing that doesn't fit so well. So if you look here, it doesn't, let's say, screw in all the way, there is like 1 millimeter gap. So I will need to shorten this thread a bit here, just file it off or mill it off. Here the barrel extension will sit on the barrel, so this wall will sit here. So this doesn't have to be perfectly, you know, perpendicular to the barrel axis. Okay, but the length is just fine for 16-inch. So for all of these activities I will have to take the gun a bit more apart. So first the stock, bam. Spring guide, nothing fancy, right? Then the buffer, favorite part of the SCAR. Okay, now the charging handle and the bolt carrier. So my bolt carrier is actually without the choke and with the NPAS, so I don't need to modify it. That's nice. And now we will also remove the hop-up chamber with the inner barrel so that I can, you know, file here. And when we will be assembling it back, it will be modded already, I will show how. So, starting here, to remove the barrel, you need to undo those two screws that hold the bottom rail. And here is a small surprise, because this rail is not coming back. You will see later. Bam. And now you need to, unfortunately, remove this screw, which is for hop-up setting, yeah? So I don't like these kind of solutions, because I prefer to have a hop-up chamber that I can remove without, changing the hop-up setup. So like, remove it, put it back, and the hop-up setup stays. Here it is not possible. So I can take this valve hex key, or actually it's the Torx key, so it's designed for that screw in particular, right? So I can use it and remove this screw quickly. Bam. Let's keep it out because it will be needed later. And now I can pull out the chamber, and you can use this cutout. You normally insert the buffer to rotate it down so that it slides out completely. Yeah. Okay, and this is now accessible, and I'm gonna file it, so be back with the barrel extension attached. Now the muzzle device, it's the HK417 muzzle device. I also bought from VFC just because I like them, and the Rotex flash hider, silencer fits to it nicely, so I'll just screw it on. And now before we go to this one, you know, the barrel now has some wobble due to missing screw. Normally it's screwed from the bottom and the screw goes into the barrel, yeah? So I'm already gonna replace the bottom rail with something else. And this something else is this nice MREX. So to assemble it, we'll need to remove this part which is in here. Okay. And pull out this one, so the rail can go away for the moment. And we need to take this one off. So here on each rail there will be 3 screws. And there is a nut on the other side, so when I remove the screw, the nut falls in, basically, yeah. We will take them out in a second. And this Torx screw, you can use the hop-up key. So this one is out. You see VFC had some issues with aligning the screw apparently. Then let's do the same on this side. And this one is also out. And bam. Okay, so 2 nuts fell off, and there is one more, but it is apparently connected over the barrel, yeah? So I need to think on how to remove it actually. Probably will have to at least loosen the barrel from these screws. So let's try it. So these side 2 screws should be attaching the barrel. Let's see. Okay, on this side. And also this front part should go out, because this is actually what we want to replace. Okay, it went out with some force. Let's see if now I can move the barrel enough so that this top part comes out. Yes, I probably am. Bam. That's the part. And I can put this back in. And now this part, let me think, it should actually go in like that, I believe. Okay, somehow I pushed it in. Fine. So now let's reattach those 4 screws. Okay, the other side. Okay, now I probably need to attach this part here, but in the kit there are only like conical screws, which is not really fitting to this type of holes, so I'm gonna use my own screws just to make it look a bit nicer. And by the way, this not nice appearance because of this misthreaded hole or whatever will be gone in a second. Okay, something of this sort. Now the rail, and I already see that this rail is a nice upgrade here, because the screw will go in and I don't need to remove it again, I mean the rail, in order to remove the hop-up chamber, which is a plus. Okay, so the 2 conical screws that were included in the set, let's attach the rail here. And there are 2 more on the bottom. So on this one, I'm gonna use my screw again. Here I go for the, because here it's M5, yeah, so also M5 but spherical. think I didn't show it yet. They included only like conical screws with the MREX, so I don't understand it. Anyway, the last thing is the barrel, and here it will be interesting because this original part had this like support, and the screw went into the barrel and pulled it down into this, you know, support. And I already know that this this replacement part for the MREX rail doesn't have it, so I'm curious how this will work actually. Here we need to take an M5 screw, but it also cannot be too long because it will go into the barrel, and then the you know, the inner barrel will not fit. So let's try this one, because now I have the feeling that if I like tighten it, I pull the barrel down, and it's obviously too long. And in the kit the screws are only much longer or much shorter, so again I don't know how this is supposed to work. I'm using my screw. Oh, okay, so this is M5 times 12 now, and it kind of seemed to work. Let's see from the inside. So I had a look into this. This design is basically bad. So to explain you, we replaced this part with this part, and again there is this elevated portion here, and normally you put the screw in, you tighten it, and it pulls the barrel, because barrel is threaded and this part is not. It pulls the barrel down and it holds it in place on this seat here, yeah? This part doesn't have it, because I believe for a free float real rifle it's not necessary. But in practice you cannot really attach it, because you have thread here, so the screw catches thread here, but this thread doesn't match with the thread in the barrel. That's one thing, and second thing, there is a gap between them, yeah, so it's a disaster. So what I did is I printed myself a washer with such a size that I can squeeze it in here, and also I drilled this hole through, so now it has no thread. You see the screw goes in, so I kind of mimicked this part, yeah, and now when I put the rail on, I will screw it from the bottom, and it will pull the barrel through this washer down, and it will be stiff. So let's do it. This part will keep falling out, yeah, so this will be a little annoying to even put it in there. So to make it a bit easier, I'll glue it. I position it with the screw, and I dripped a bit of glue in there, yeah, and now the part will stay in place until I screw it properly. Okay, so now I need to squeeze the rail again, and I hope this is the last time, because I already scratched the receiver. The fit is really tight, so it's good because there will be no wobble at least, but let's see. Okay, so sliding it over again. Okay, all positioned, so to say. Alright, first let's attach the rail here. By the way, the model for this washer will be published on codes, like everything, right? And now the one here on the bottom, and we are left only with this one. And the only issue is that the screw, like there is no good screw in the kit with this MREX rail that would fit here. So what I mean, if I screw it in, it catches the barrel now, it pulls it down, so you see the barrel is perfectly stiff. Okay, but I have to look inside, because the screw might be obscuring the bore of the barrel, so that the inner barrel will not go in. And of course I won't show it here because of how, but it obscures it like crazy, yeah, I would say like 2.5 millimeter. So what else can I do? I need to either take a shorter screw. This one has 16 length, so probably 14 would be okay, or I just need to cut it down, yeah, one of the two. And I actually don't have a proper length, so I will have to cut this one down. Okay, so there is actually a stroke of luck. This is M5 times 14 screw which I found, and it fits perfectly. So there is one more thing I'm worried about, because, you know, the barrel is not so great material, probably it's simple aluminum, and it hangs on this one screw, right? I'm a bit afraid that, you know, while playing and so on, the screw can be torn out. Luckily, I will never probably have to open it again. I mean, remove the screw and the barrel, hopefully. So I'm gonna tighten the screw using some Loctite and pray that it works, because if I, like, you know, strip the thread, that seems solid, yeah, but if I strip the thread, probably the barrel would be damaged. I would need to go to M6 screw and, you know, re-drill everything. And by the way, I ordered this MREX rail from 6mm shop, yeah, and I ordered a different one because I ordered the one with the rail here, but probably they were out of stock, so they sent me this one because my target is to put a laser here, and now I don't have attachment, so I bought this small MLOK RIS rail and I need to assemble it here. Probably, anyway, the laser will be in collision with the front side, so I will need to remove it, but that's maybe for later. Here is my little kit for the rail. Bam. And these screws are like super long. This is like a no-name screw rail, right? So anyway, I'll use probably some different screws. Maybe these will be long enough. Actually, they come from the kit with the rail, yeah. Okay, the thread matches. Okay, they are just the perfect length. Okay, tighten it well. Maybe later, because I'm not sure how well positioned they are, the laser could be off, yeah, off axis, so maybe later I will have to loosen them, position them better, but let's leave it for now. Definitely the front side will be removed. So I could have bought this longer MREX rail, but that was the target. I wanted it, let's say, limited in the front, not so long. Yeah, I think this would be like that long if I bought the longer variant, that the whole, even like PEG 15 can fit here. So I think for the moment upper receiver is complete. I can put it aside. And now we are going to do the hop-up. I have a pre-cut 430mm long barrel from Array Tech. I measured what length I need. Yeah, I think the length is quite okay because 20-inch SCAR GBBR from VFC has 540mm long inner barrel, so a 16-inch long gun has 430. Sounds quite okay. Due to the construction, the inner barrels are a little longer than in your regular AR-15s or AR-10s, where this would be 410mm long. Okay, so this is 6.01. I put it into all the guns. This is the stainless steel one, and I also have two more things. As always, the Modify X range 65 degrees, my favorite backing, and I have this tiny ring, and this ring is one of my special tricks. I have it actually from the Maple Leaf Mr. Hop package, so if you buy it, you have a backing like with this steel collar, but also included, this is called like seal ring or something, so I'm gonna use it. Yeah, so I happen to have this ring. You maybe don't need to buy a Maple Leaf backing just to take out this part. Maybe you can cut it from some thin sheet of metal, like you know, a can after Coca-Cola or whatever. We start off here. We need to remove two screws to open the chamber, and this is the first weird thing, because normally all these chambers made by VFC are made with like regular threaded screws, but for some reason here you have these type of like screws for plastic, wood or something, yeah, so it's pretty strange. Luckily I had to open many times my other chamber and these screws were holding, yeah, so in case they start failing, maybe you need to have some you know, like thread the holes and replace it to regular screw. Okay, I don't know what's the idea behind it. Now we will be able to pull off this plastic part that breaks often. Also here we will improve a bit its performance. And now we need to take off this part. And here I did not found any clever trick how to do it. Just bend the parts of the hop-up chamber away and pull it through. Yeah. Right. And this whole sub-assembly is useless for me. And now the standard stuff. Always when you are assembling a barrel, remember to like clean it, because I looked inside and actually, you know, it was mirror polished, nice clean, and still I pushed out this dirt. Yeah, maybe you can see. Okay, and the other thing is that surprisingly, first time I see it, there were like burrs at the input here to see that the BB doesn't go in. Yeah, so one more thing, I need to clean this off. That's the first time I see something like this in a Raytech barrel. Okay, the burr is removed. If I throw the BB in now, it goes to the other side. So what I did is I took a round file, I put it in carefully, not to touch the sides, like the surface of the barrel inside, and I pulled it out where I saw the burrs. So I did not go like this back and forth, not to damage anything. I just carefully positioned it and pull it out, and this is the way how I did it. Okay, now like in all VFCs, we need the backing without the side rib, so it has to be cut off. And I'm taking a fresh, very sharp blade and basically going like this. Bam. And the backing is round and I'm going straight, yeah, so it always requires some more. Okay. Pretty easy. Backing goes on. Just make sure it's straight. Okay. And now we take this small ring and we put it over the backing, and this thing has a cutout, yeah, so important is to orient this cutout either bottom or top. I'll orient it to the bottom. Okay, and that's it. So you see how I insert it, it's a bit away from the start of the backing, yeah, here. And of course it should not go over the patch. Make sure that you are so much to the front that the patch is unaffected. And what it will give us, it will increase, let's say, the tension on the nozzle when it enters the backing. Because normally in all chambers you either have like a steel collar that holds the backing, or you have this part in the 7.62 guns, but this is more massive, so to say, yeah. This plastic part is not so robust and it can basically explode. That's one thing, because of the cycles on the gun. And the second thing that it does, I noticed that my Mark 20 had a huge issue with the consistency of the output energy. And when you have such issues, like, there could be a number of reasons, but often this is because the nozzle is not retained in the chamber long enough and it's ejecting, let's say, from the chamber too soon. And every time it happens at a different moment, so to say. So the effect is that, sometimes it stays in place and applies the pressure to the BB longer, sometimes it stays shorter. So this additional, let's say, tension here between the nozzle and the backing will make the nozzle stay all the time in the chamber unless it hits the hard stop in the bolt carrier. The hard stop, yeah, this is the hard stop, and come out only then, which will basically make a very good consistent output. Okay, now we can put it back. This trick was simple, right? So bam, bam, and here, before we apply the screws, we need to put this part in again. And honestly, when I first saw this chamber, I thought it will be a tragedy. Yeah, I did not believe that this kind of construction can actually work well. But in the Mark 20, after I did this small upgrade, it was actually really, really nice. Okay, so let's see that it works. Okay, can maybe move this ring a little more to the back. like 1 millimeter, whatever. And then this plastic rear part, and we have a nice assembled hop-up. Now I can take the hop-up and put it back in, and I will check if the barrel, inner barrel, has wobble in the outer barrel. So let's do it. So I take this assembly upside down, because this way I can slide it. Yeah, again, I rotate it back while it's here. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, it has a lot of wobble. So definitely the wobble will not be good, and I need to stop it. Depending on the barrel, sometimes you have like a groove cut for an o-ring or something, but on this 510 barrel that was cut down to 430, the groove was all on the tip and it's cut off now, yeah? So I'll do the old school thing. I'll take the insulation tape and somewhere close to the tip, so that the stabilization is, you know, as is covering the complete, let's say, assembly. And the best to do it in such a way that it starts in some orientation. So here it starts from the bottom, yeah, I rotated it so that this is the bottom orientation, and it goes all around. And most likely this one layer I can cut it off like this, yeah, and most likely this one layer will be too much, but let's see. Yeah, so what I do, because now I cannot insert this at all, it's too tight, yeah. So what I do is I remove this tape symmetrically on both sides like this. Okay, one piece, second piece. So for example, now it's only on the top, and you know, it will be consuming less space in that assembly. So let's try if I can put it in now. It's a bit better, but still too much. You can see where it's stripped, yeah. So again, just a bit here and a bit here. Doesn't have to be super precise, because it, you know, even if it changes, let's say, the actual position of the inner barrel to the complete gun, it's like tenths of millimeter on whole length, yeah, so it's practically not existent. You will set your scope later to compensate for this, right? Okay, go again. Okay, now it goes in with slight resistance. This is what I like. Okay. And of course we want to have a stable hop-up, so this screw for hop-up setting will receive decent amount of light Loctite. This is Loctite 222. Bam. Okay, and actually I already hidden the gas valve key back in the gun, so I'm just gonna use the regular Torx key. Yeah, okay, so like I don't know how to set it, yeah, I'll set it some random value, later we will adjust it. And yeah, with this Loctite also it won't fall out, because the previous rail was covering this screw, so it was maybe not good for like this assembly, but on the other hand, at least the screw couldn't fall out, because like when you are shooting. Obviously, if the screw loosens when you are shooting and it's used for setting hop-up, something's wrong, yeah, you don't want this to happen. But in the worst case, you will not lose it at least, yeah. So, the point is, Loctite will hold it, hopefully will be fine. Okay, so now I think really the upper is ready, and the next thing will be as I said, mine is already with the NPAS and without the choke. If you have a version with it, then the removal is just the same as I showed in another video. This was, I believe, for the M110. I will add some lube here and there. Later I will spray it with oil too. This is, let's say, just for now, for the build. Okay, bam. And here I'm gonna use a different charging handle, which is this one, Eagle Eye, with nice icon like the USB port. I bought the same for my Mark 20 and I like it, so the same one will come here. It's quite big, but it's stiff and it's angled, so it's a little nicer in my opinion. Okay, and I think I will have the same issue because, yeah, in my Mark 20 I was not able to like insert it fully. So what I did, I needed to file the pocket in the bolt carrier a bit because it doesn't go deep enough. Yeah, so I cannot pull it. Okay, let's not fight it, let's just do the same what I did there. So it goes normally here, and the issue is it doesn't go all the way in. It's exactly the same case as in the other gun. So just file this around so that it can fit in. So filed on the sides, right? Now let's see if better. Oh yes, much better. So the last thing will be about the buffer, but to do the modification actually we need to reassemble everything, yeah? So I'm gonna put in the buffer the proper way and the spring guide and hold it with the stock. Actually, you know what, I'll remove the rear sight because I won't be using this rear sight anyway, and it will help a little with the explanation. I will use a scope with short eye relief, so anyway, like there would be no place or space for this sight to be here, yeah. Anyway, in airsoft probably you don't use it. The guns with the hop-up, they shoot a bit higher, yeah, and those mechanical and those standard sights, they basically are not able to see the BB trajectory, yeah. Okay. So now, what is the problem with the buffer? The buffer is completely loose here, and I think it's meant to absorb the impact because probably the rear part of the gun would break off if there was not a bit of damping. So you've seen a moment ago the buffer has this tiny little round part with some good absorbing material, I believe, and the bolt carrier strikes it, yeah. The issue is that it's completely loose and it has this tiny rib here that should be behind this tiny rib in the lower receiver. It's really thin, and when you assemble it, basically you need to, you know, make sure that the buffer is to the back, yeah, put this in, of course lock the pin and hope that this is well caught here. Actually, if you look closely on my part, it already is having here like a damage from the buffer, and it's very often happening that the buffer, when somebody assembles the gun, slips. It's, for example, like this. You assemble it and then the first shot you take, it will hit this wall and like break it out completely. It happened in my other Mark 20, and if you want to see something funny, actually you can watch some videos of other YouTubers with the SCAR where they are disassembling it and so on, and most of them have this already broken off and the buffer is flying loose, yeah? Which is the worst case, because the principle of any GBBR is basically timing, yeah? So the bolt carrier is not locked like in a real gun in the chamber. It's just staying here under its inertia, so to say, and the friction and the spring tension. So when it goes back, you want to have each cycle really the same. Like I explained, I had to tighten the backing with the string to ensure that the cycle is always the same. And if the buffer is sometimes here, sometimes here, sometimes here, it will cause the gun to cycle differently each time, because you know, it will not stop the bolt carrier, but it will absorb different amount of energy depending on position. Yeah, so you want to hold it here really in the rear. That's the point. And it's not really possible to do it any clever way. We have to do it the working way, so to say, which will be the following. First of all, we need to put the receiver, but having the buffer in proper position. If you already broke off this rib, yeah, then you must just push it back, or maybe insert something here so that it stays to the back, and have this final, let's say, position. Yeah, okay, so the lower goes back. Okay, now we have 5 screws that are holding this metal part here, in which the buffer rides. I did not show it, but the buffer has cutouts that hold on the metal area here, where those screws attach, and it's done so that the load after each strike is transferred to the receiver and not to the stock, because the stock is made of plastic. It would probably break off really quickly. Yeah? And we have 2 screws here, 1 screw here on the top, and 2 more screws here, and they go through this metal part, and then buffer is under those parts. Yeah, so what you can do is you can remove any of these 5 screws and drill through the buffer. It's made of plastic, it's easy, and then screw in a longer screw back. So what it will do is that this screw will always hold the buffer in place, and this issue that it can move freely is gone. What is wrong, or what is bad with it, is that if you want to disassemble the gun, you need to remove this screw, yeah, because the buffer will not allow you to take out the bolt carrier. But let's say this is the SCAR, so it's a nice gun, it's a lot of fun to shoot it and so on, but it has a lot of these weird things. Yeah, so what I do is I will do the side screw, this one. I did the same in my Mark 20. Honestly, I would recommend to do the top screw because it's in the middle, it's symmetrical, but my scope will cover it, so it would be even worse if I have the scope here and I need to, you know, remove the scope in order to open the gun and the zero is lost. Yeah, so I am doing the side screw. It's not supposed to transfer any load or anything, it's just to hold the buffer in place. Okay, and you see the screw is actually quite short. And if you are working on the gun, for example, setting the NPAS or whatever, in order not to have to, you know, remove this screw, take the parts out, set the NPAS, put it back, and remove the screw and repeat again, you can just take it out, set everything, and then put it as a final step. Just be careful that the buffer is not loose, yeah, because it will break that rib and all that story. Let's maybe put the gun in this orientation for a moment. And you can see the plastic from the buffer here, and I have some longer screws. Mine are from the MREX kit, but it's a regular conical M4 screw. The one I will use is 12 millimeters long. Now we want to drill, and this screw hole should be, let's say, tight enough so that the, you know, buffer is not moving too much. And how to do it? This is like an M4 fitting to the receiver. If I go with the M4 size drill, I will probably damage the thread, so I want to do it outside of the gun. So I'm taking my longer screw and I'm screwing it in, and it will leave an imprint on the buffer. Yeah, so probably already it's marked. Okay, now I take the buffer out. And yeah, here you can see a circle, and in this circle I'm going with the 3.5 diameter drill, and I'll drill through the plastic. It will take a moment. The 3.5 is tight enough so that the screw will create the thread for itself, and it won't be stronger than the thread in the aluminium part, so you know I won't damage that. Yeah, and this is the cutout actually for these for this interface here. Maybe you see, maybe it's too dark, but generally there are like 2 ears or whatever we call it here, and the buffer basically sits back on them with these cutouts. Okay, hole is here, then throw it back, put the gun back. Okay. And now the screw. I can feel the resistance from it going into the plastic, and it's done. Yeah. So now this is a secret screw that holds the buffer in place, and each cycle will be exactly the same. Voila. So from the internals on this gun I think I did already everything, and now let's do the most fun part, which is put the gear on it. Yeah, so it will have this nice scope. I need to see what position will be here. This is a Chinese Spectre DR 1.56 as you see, with the piggyback vector optics scrapper. I think this would be for the night vision, this for some, let's say, long range shooting. If in airsoft we can talk about the long range. It's funny combo, but I like it. The history of it maybe deserves an anecdote, because I ordered the small Spectre ones for the 1 to 4 time zoom, yeah, and I always wanted this one, but it was extremely expensive. I had the HK417 GBBR, the 12.5, I think this is inch version. I wanted to make a 16 inch, but with that scope, and I had this, like, I didn't have this scope, so I had no idea for the gun, and it was like standing aside, not being used. And later, after some time, I figured out, you know, I'll buy that 1 to 4 for a different gun. When I bought it, the guys from AliExpress sent me this one, yeah. So it was funny because I received the other one that I wanted, and I said, okay, this is destiny, and I built that 16 inch HK417 battle rifle design. Yeah, and I had a lot of fun with it. So I sold already the gun, but the scope stayed, so it will go to this battle rifle. So this is my position basically. You see that it covers this screw that was here, yeah, so I would not be able to remove it. And you can ask, is this a good scope? Generally all these like switchable magnification Chinese Spectre scopes, they have one big issue, which is a shift of 0 when you switch the zoom, yeah, and all of them have it, and sometimes it's like really big. So depends which one you get. If you get one with small shift, it's okay, or you just have to use, for example, the zoom for in this case the zoom 6 times, and just don't use the 1.5 because maybe the shift is too big. Or maybe you can just learn to set off the holds, but that's probably not what airsofters like. Anyway, also the 6 times zoom for airsoft seems huge, but actually in this scope it's quite nice, because you have very big zoom, but it has a huge field of view also. So basically you see very well down range because you have a big zoom, and you don't have an issue with aiming and seeing where the BBs go, what's going on if you take the holds and so on, because it has the BDC reticle and the field of view is so big that you can see a lot, yeah. So normally I would not go for a 6 times scope, like a regular scope, like sniper scope with the, you know, tubes and everything, because it would be too much for me. I think 4 is already a little too much, but in this case, for this one, 6 times is just fine. Now now the next thing, I bought this link anchor type grip from Strike Industries, and it was a little funny case also, because I thought it will be much bigger. I thought this is like a flatter AFG, yeah, but definitely it's not. and my idea was that I will put it here somewhere, because the SCAR is quite high, with the MREX is less high, let's say, the height is smaller, and I want to be able to reach over with my thumb to a pressure switch on top, the accent type. So I bought something really flat that helps to control the gun and basically doesn't increase the size, the height of that grip, yeah, so that I can still reach over. Because with the AFG, of course this is not an M-LOK, but with AFG, it pulls your hand down, so it's not that comfy. Then I took it, I unpacked it, and I was surprised how small it is. I thought it would be like twice bigger, but whatever. One thing that is a little bad here, I'd say, is that I cannot really put it anywhere because the screw pitch doesn't fit, yeah? So if I put the gun like this, you can see that here it doesn't fit. Maybe it fits here, but then it has these positioning ribs for the M-LOK, and probably I will have to shave some of them off because I won't be able to put it anywhere this way. Yeah, maybe like that. And then the next question is how you put it, yeah? You put it like this or like this. I think you put it like this, and it's these tabs here are an issue. So let me see off screen if this is okay for my grip. Okay, so I think it's gonna work somehow without modification. I will put it here where it fits naturally, so to say. And the idea is that when I grab this, I will grab it like this. So 2 fingers here and the rest on the rail. I will be able to reach over, and this angled wall, let's say, will help me to, like, pull the gun back. Yeah, it basically provides a good support for the palm, but it will be here. Yeah, so not between the fingers, but here. It's not bad actually. I kind of like it for now. And we are almost done here. I'll add a magazine so that it looks nicer. Starting to be a nice battle rifle. And there are some more things I want to have here. So the first thing is the Chinese Surefire flashlight, the Scout with the AR. So you can rotate the head here and it changes from white to AR. It's pretty nice. It has this mirror that is off center, yeah, and it switches from one LED to the other, yeah, when you rotate it. But let's say this is not the main reason why I want this, because in practice when I use night vision anyway, it's kind of good enough to see without any issue when I don't use any kind of illumination. And anyway, I will also have some kind of laser here in the front, so that it has the own illuminator. What I like about this is that you can actually shut it off. So you can set it to off and it's off, yeah? If you press the button by accident, it does nothing. This is the best feature of that. And of course I need it in the MLOK attachment, yeah? So I bought some nice MLOK attachment. It's again some Chinese stuff, yeah? Just a simple plate that will go somewhere on the rail, and I'll figure out in a second where to put it. Okay, first I will attach the flashlight, and I like to have the flashlight on this side of the gun, yeah, so here I will go like this, so that it goes from, let's say, the bottom. Okay, I added some Loctite also to this one because I don't trust these Chinese screws. The gun is already pretty heavy. Actually, it's funny because the gun is very light. This Spectre combo I have is like 1 kilogram or something, yeah? Okay, and probably where to put it? Like here. Here I cannot. Okay, so it will be just like this here. And here, a question. Put it here or here? Honestly, let me check it. In this position, when I will be shooting off the left hand, the connector from the flashlight will, be kind of disturbing to my hand, I think. So for now I'll put it to the maximum front position and then we will see. Now what this front position does also, it minimizes the shadow casted by the barrel or maybe the silencer if it comes here. But on the other hand, it adds the weight, yeah, more to the front. But for me, not an issue currently. Okay. Still one more thing I would forget about, which is a nice, also Chinese sling attachment. Okay, so now I don't have any sling attachment, so I'm gonna add this one. I don't understand why they are giving you the conical head screws for flat attachment shapes. And I think the sling mount will go here. I'm gonna use a proper size screw, yeah. And here also some Loctite would be welcome, because gun falling off the sling might end badly for it. Okay, so bam. Okay, fits just fine. And I'm gonna use a 2-point sling here, so I will attach it in a moment. I will need to figure out the way how, but generally, you know, this attachment point is completely out of my reach, which is fine. And now the Exxon. I probably will use a Chinese laser combo here, so with the micro jack, and it will sit somewhere here. Again, I need to see how it fits to my hand. Or you know what, I'm gonna put the Somo Gear Pack 15 here. It will be quite long, but why not? Anyway, there is no other laser combo that would fit here in my opinion. So anyway, I need to take off the front side, and the question is how to do it. So I see it sits in a kind of mount here. Yeah, and on the other side there is this holding part, and I will have to punch out a pin that sits in this so that it comes off this side, and probably then I will be able to pull it out. The issue is that this pin could be oriented downwards, so I need to, you know, push it into the rail and I won't remove it. So what I found is that with a proper key I can actually rotate it here and orient this you know, in such a way that now the pin would go this way and there should be enough space for it to come out. Normally this is to set the left-right setting on the front side, but I'm gonna punch this out. It's hard to do it under camera, I'll do it off screen. Okay, so this tiny pin came out, and now I believe I am able to, yes, take it up and probably just push the whole side out of here. Or maybe I need to rotate it out, let's think. Yes, probably that's the case, so okay, I took this part out, and now come on, yeah, it's removed. So actually, you know, you can put this back and the whole part put back, but it will be for nothing, so I'm just gonna remove it completely maybe, let's see. Okay, now let's check the pack. Additionally, this key, this Torx key for the hop-up will not be available anymore, yeah? It will be covered, I will not be able to take it out. Okay, Somo Gear Pack 15 will fit here just fine. Guess this will be okay. Okay, and actually I think this, with some trouble, but might be possible to remove this key. Yeah, actually I removed it. Yeah, so in the worst case, if you need it for something, yeah, maybe you can do it. I have a trouble now, but if you're stranded in a no man's land and you need to set up your hop, maybe you can actually do it with that part. Now I need to push it out. Yeah, it came out, yeah. Not nice, but theoretically doable. Okay, now let's try to put it back. Okay, it was very challenging to put it back, but it's here actually, yeah, that part. I'm gonna take it out completely finally. And also there is this spring-loaded part with definitely a spring here. Okay, so this whole front side assembly is out. It looks this way. And now finally that Exxon button. I'm trying really hard to assemble everything under camera, but you know, it's hard to maneuver with this big gun here. Okay, anyway, so the crane goes here, Okay, and the surefire goes here, angled. And for the wires, which I need to control here somehow, let's just zip them here. Bam. Okay. For now I think this one zip is enough. If, you know, they are annoying, then maybe I will add the second one. Alright, this is done, all is done. So now, like, the real final touch is the sling. This is actually an Emerson 2-point sling. I used it for some other gun, I don't remember for what exactly. And I'm gonna use it here. For these bigger, heavier guns, I prefer to have the 2-point sling. For like lighter, smaller guns, 1-point convertible, like the, for example, Magpul MS type sling, yeah? Okay, so here, pretty simple. Bam, bam. And I like to go back also, not to have the issue that it is released in an improper moment. And for now, the same type of attachment here on the rear. I'll see if it works. Maybe I will move it somewhere here with some paracord loop or something. Probably the build is ready. And bam, here we are with the finished gun. Actually, you can see already one difference, which is the stock. So at the moment when I was doing all the conversions and everything, I could not find an ACR type stock for the SCAR, like non-available, yeah, only for the GM, I think. And I wanted obviously a VFC one, and lately, because the previous part of the video was recorded already some time ago, so lately I saw a Renegade stock, which is this one, and I bought it and it's here. So I did not record this in the part of the video, the modifications and such, but it's assembled, it fits pretty nicely. Actually, there was one issue with it regarding the fitting, that it could not go up all the way to insert the lower receiver to it. I had to file it here on top just a little. It's completely not visible from the outside, to lift it up like 0.5 millimeter more and be able to plug the receiver in. So this is one thing, and it was extremely wobbly, yeah. So also the I don't remember who is the manufacturer of the GM stock replacements, let's say. There is this FCW and something else. Like these stocks, this rear part is extremely wobbly in both, yeah? So it was a terrible shit. Now it moves pretty nicely, as you see. Of course it has some wobble as always because it's moving, yeah, so it cannot be fully stiff, but it's like comparable to an AR-15 stock. Previously it was making weird noises, yeah, it was like doing click 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 every time you like moved the gun, yeah. So what I did is I taped some pieces of aluminum on the guides. Let's say I remove this rear part of the stock, there's a screw underneath, you screw it out, push on these locks, then you are able to remove it. And there, to cancel the wobble and so on, these weird noises, I just taped some aluminum sheet, yeah, thicker or thinner depending on the clearances, and now it's nice, yeah. Now it doesn't make any strange noises, it's fine. And there was one more issue with it, which is this QD point, yeah. So in the video you've seen I attached the sling to the top of this original SCAR stock. Of course here I don't have it, so I'm using the QD point, and the all QD attachment mounts were, let's say, too long to fit in here and lock, because there is a screw going through the socket, it goes to the other side, and on the other side there is a nut, yeah. So the screw was basically too big, it was pushing out the QD swivel before it locked in place. So what I did is I removed the screw and I filed the top of the screw head, you know, to be so flat that I can still, of course, tighten it, but the QD mount would click in, yeah? So now it clicks in. This is just some random QD swivel, nothing special, yeah, but it holds pretty nicely, and obviously I Loctited it in place, yeah. So the last thing regarding this Renegade stock, because now it's pretty nice, also the lockup here, when you fold it, is pretty nice. In this one for the GM it was tragic, yeah, it was wobbly as shit, but here it's pretty nice. What is not nice is that when you fold it, and here I like it because it like folds completely flat on the gun, it moves, yeah. So this I don't like, and it moves quite a lot. It's pretty shitty, yeah. Obviously, you know, this is more for transport, so not a big deal, but I tried to like cancel this clearance somehow and I was not able to. I think that if this was a SCAR light, this would actually fold on the shell deflector and be stopped, you know, in the more open position, and would not be that much of an issue. But here, because it folds like beautifully completely flat, there is just clearance, and the amount of plastic here in those hinges where it should be stopped is just too small to like do anything with them, to modify them in any way so that it can, you know, survive opening and closing and cancel that shitty movement, yeah. But again, probably doesn't bother me that much, so I can then reopen it. Yeah, it clicks nicely in place, it's pretty nice. I said that for this Frog Special, apart from this basic stuff we just did, like the modifications and everything, we will also see how it works, but not in this video because it's already too long. I saw that it's over 1 hour already, so there will be a part 2 and you have to wait for it, and there would be the chronoing of this gun and some range demonstration, how it's set up, how the reticle is set up for particular distances, and basically how I configure the gun. For now, I will just do the last thing, so I will connect the pressure. The gun is on safe, the hammer is cocked, so it won't shoot on its own, yeah. So the pressure is connected and we can just take some shots and just have some fun. So the magazine is empty, so if I pull the trigger, the gun will basically stop. Yeah, and I like the kick, I like the SCAR Heavy very much. Let's see how the full auto works. I need to hold the bolt catch down because, you know, otherwise it would lock immediately. So let's have a couple of shots. Yeah, and of course now winter is coming and this GBBR would never work in the winter. Just on its own, but thanks to the HPA it will. So again, the part 2 will come. It will be definitely a shorter and probably for everybody more interesting video, because we will see the performance of the gun, chronoing, some performance on the, let's say, range. But for now, thank you so much for watching. The Frog Special episode is over. Let me know what you think. Leave like, subscribe, all this stuff, hit the notification bell, and of course may the power of GBBR be with you.